Welcome back to FM Storey. We're about to begin season 9 of our series where we try to end the dominance of Celtic and Rangers in Scottish football, and somehow we have to manage to either match or even beat what we did last season. Last season we finished second in the league, and also somehow we managed to come away with the Europa League trophy as well. So without further ado, let's get in to see what we've done in the summer and see how the season starts. We've made it to the opening day of the season where we're away at Celtic, which isn't the best place to start. Transfer-wise, not much has happened. We brought in Gabriel Fleck. That was a deal that had already been done. He's immediately gone out back to Brazil on loan, where he scored 2 goals in 3 games in his first games on the loan spell. And then we've also brought in Kevin Meikle, Scottish striker, on loan from Liverpool for the season. Just really think he'll complement Casanova pretty well. We have decided to change things up slightly with the tactic to start the season. We've gone to the formation that we played in the second half of the Europa League final. We're going with the sort of 4-2-4. It suits us best with the wingers, and now with Casanova as a regular goal scorer, and hopefully Meikle alongside him, it'll get the best out of us. The only actual outgoing was a youngster who didn't look like they were ever going to make the grade with us. He's gone out on loan. He's gone out on a permanent deal to Aberdeen. We have already played a semi-competitive match. We've played the Euro South American Club Challenge against Bragantino after having won the Europa League, and we hammered them. We came out comfortable 5-1 victors. They pulled a goal back after we'd gone ahead, but we managed to get ahead just before half time again, and in the second half we were just too good for them. We do obviously have the UEFA Super Cup coming up against PSG, who won the Champions League last season. The club vision for the season, so they want us to reach the Champions League proper, which we've done because we were, as Europa League champions, we go directly into the league phase of the Champions League. They want us to be competitive in the Super Cup. So obviously, as long as we don't get hammered by PSG, we should be fine. They want us to qualify for the Champions League again next season, which is going to be a pretty tough one. And then challenging for the Scottish Cup and the Scottish League Cup, they expect us to get to the semi-finals. So we do need to build on what we've done last season if we're going to meet the expectations of the board this season. But things are starting to change. We're now predicted to finish second in the league. At the start of the summer, we were third. I think at the start of the summer, it was still Rangers as favourites. It was Celtic at 4-1, us at 5-1. Celtic have drifted since they sold a couple of players for fairly big money, and we've shortened into second favourite. We do also have 4 players in the Media Dream 11. We've got Danny Smith, Carlos Medina, who's never going to play centre-half just because of his height unless we're really, really desperate, Jorge Rodriguez and Jose Casanova. So hopefully we're building a good, strong side. Hopefully we can keep a hold of them. And hopefully we can start the season well. We'll probably be back for the PSG game in the Super Cup, just so we can really test ourselves. But it's time to get the season underway. We've made it to the UEFA Super Cup, and we've played the opening 2 games of the league season, and they couldn't have been any different, really. Obviously, as we said, opening day of the season, we were playing Celtic. We just didn't get going. They had a penalty saved just as the first half was ending, and then a couple of minutes later in injury time, a long ball over the top of Danny Smith, a right back, found Santiago Lopez, who scored. We did lose Alan Kerr injured in the first half. He's out for a couple of weeks. Isaac Babadi got sent off late on, and I think may well have played his last game for the club. If we can get rid of him in the transfer window, we'll probably do that. We then were at home to Hibs and basically demolished them. 8-1 was the scoreline. They did pull it back to 1-1 after 23 minutes, but then we scored in the 26th, 27th, 29th, 34th minute to really kind of take the game away from them. Damian Perez with a hat-trick, Kevin Miko with his first 2 goals of his loan spell. And hopefully that's more of a sign of what's to come than this season in the Celtic game. We have done some more business in the transfer window in that we've added a new player. We've signed Dominique Leturner from Toulouse. Toulouse got relegated. He had a release clause in his contract for being relegated. Technically not brilliant, although good dribbling, okay technique, but decent mentals and really good physicals. So hopefully he can continue his development with us and become a sort of key player on that left-hand side, because obviously having lost Bradley Backholder in the summer, having switched the formation back to needing wingers, we are kind of short of players on that left-hand side. So he's come in, and now we go into the UEFA Super Cup against PSG for some reason in Cardiff, and at the Cardiff City Stadium rather than anywhere else as well. So hopefully we can pick up a victory, but it's going to be a tough game against the defending Champions League champions. This is the side we've picked for the Super Cup. We've got in with the same team that started that last league game against Hibs. We are coming up against one of our former players in Vivino, who was really the first star player that we signed for low fees that we went on to sell for big money. He kind of coincided for a little bit with Samson Elise at the club, and then obviously we needed to move him on just because he'd grown too big for the club at that time. But I mean, if you look at their team, this is going to be a tough game. I mean, you've got Hakimi, Diamande, Vivino, you've got Musiala, Kvaratskhelia and Mbappe, and then on the bench you've got Hincapié, Rivella, Upamecano, Coop Miners, Manu Kone, Goncalo Ramos. I mean, if we avoid getting a hammer in here, I think it's probably a bit of a success. Right, throwing for us, Dimov to take it, looking for Medina. Dimov gets the ball, driving forwards, hits it with the outside of his foot straight into the keeper's hands. Promising start for us, but we need to take chances that as we get them, like we did in that last game. Right, goal kick, they go short. Diamande to Vivino, into Valverde, Mendes from left back into Mbappe. Oh, we've won it back, but giving it straight back to them. Mbappe chips Zebra off the bar. Kvaratskhelia to Valverde, and we've got away with one there. Right, Elise with the ball at the back loses out to Mbappe. That was stupid. But we've won it back. Edstrom looking for Perez, and we're just inviting them onto us again. Mbappe's in and scores. Was he? I thought it was onside, but we'll no doubt see. And yeah, it's been given. I think this formation, while it may potentially work at Europa League level and in the league, I think when we play the top teams in Europe, I think we're gonna be a bit too open. But I mean, this is a game for nothing, if you know what I mean. There's nothing really riding on it. He was just about onside and a decent finish. Right, Dimov back to Zebra. Elise. Medina gives it away poorly in the midfield there. Edstrom came rushing out and we've been caught here. Valverde into Musiala. And that was far too easy from their point of view. It was just a stupid ball to give away for Medina, and then we've just left Musiala in acres of space there. And there we have it. Half time, 2-0 down. Definitely been second best in that first half. Although we were 2-0 down in the Europa League final, I think it's going to take much more of a... Well, in fact, I don't think it's possible for us to overturn that deficit like we did in the Europa League final. It's now really about trying to get at least one goal in this game, trying to get ourselves back into it. Right, Jorge Rodriguez gives it away. We're giving the ball to Mendes an awful lot at left back when we try to pass out from the midfield. Fabinho to Mendes. They're just getting past the press far too easily. Mbappe to Musiala. I think at this point we need to switch the formation up. It's obviously not working in this kind of situation. Mbappe out to Musiala, just drifts in far too easily and then fires it past Zebra from the edge of the box. Alright, Valverde with a free kick for them. Stands it up. Ramos with a header. Ugarte smashes a shot off the bar, but it was offside. Right, Matson with a throw for us. Romeo to Edstrom. Goes back to Zebra. Elise. Can't help but feel we're going to give the ball away in midfield again, but Romeo down the line into the box looking for Shimihira. Squares it. Damian Perez gets a goal. I think it's far too little, far too late, but we are on the score sheet. It's 3-1. Edstrom into Romeo, turns, just plays the ball in behind the fullback and centre half. Shimihira squares it. Perez pokes it home from inside the 6-yard box. And at least we've got something to show for the day. Right, Matson with a free kick to the far post looking for Edstrom. It's headed up in the air. Kvaratskhelia bringing it clear. Musiala. Ugarte out to Mbappe on the left-hand side. McAllister wins it back and goes down the line. Perez tries to take it past Hincapie. Vivino into Valverde. It's starting to look a bit open, which is a concern. Because I think it's more likely they're going to get a fourth than we're going to get a second. Mbappe into the box, squares it. And there we are. Musiala's got his... Is that his third of the game? Yeah, he got his hat-trick. It's 4-1. And really, I mean... It was only a consolation goal that we got. We knew that. They're just far, far better than us. And let's hope we don't come across them in the Champions League this season. And there we go. 4-1 full-time. As we said, their squad is so much better than us. So much more experience as well. I mean, you've got to remember, when you look at it, most of that starting lineup and subs are players who were there at the start of the game. They've got the experience. They've got the talent. Some of our players might be good enough on this level in the future, but it is a very, very young squad that we've got, and it's a lesson for them. We've made it to the 21st of September, our last game of September. We were supposed to have another game after this in the midweek against Hibs in the League Cup quarter-final. That's been postponed because of international call-ups, but so far things are going pretty well. So after the PSG game in the UEFA Super Cup, we went away to Hearts in the second round of the League Cup and turned on the style a bit in the second half to come away with a 4-1 victory. We then went away to Rangers and were brilliant in the first half, 2-0 up at half time, and then threw the game away in the second half. And at this point, I think I decided that the 4-2-4 is okay against most teams in the league, but I think against Celtic and Rangers and in the Champions League, I think we need to go back to the 4-3-3 just so we're not so open, and hope that we can still create some chances that way. We followed up the Rangers game with a comfortable victory at home against Ross County, coming away 6-0 victors. Then we went to Livingston and won 3-0 despite playing best part of 40 minutes with 10 men. We then were at home to Queen's Park, another comfortable victory without conceding. We won 4-0. And then the first Champions League game, home to Monaco, really decent performance, came away with a 3-1 victory. We did have a massive run of injuries, before and during this game. Deli Basic was injured, Casanova was injured in training, someone else was injured in training, then Medina and Matson got injured during the game, which has had a bit of a knock-on effect going forward. We then went into the Kilmarnock game, another comfortable win, 5-1 away from home. And then Arsenal, we were just outclassed. It was similar to the PSG game. Their squad's just so much better than what we have. So much more experience as well. We came away with a 4-1 loss there. So as far as the Champions League's concerned, we're currently sat in 18th with 1 win and 1 loss. But obviously it's just early days in that. The draw that we got in the Champions League, not the best. I mean, we did say after the Super Cup that we wanted to avoid PSG. We've got PSG. We've got Milan coming up next. We've got Real Sociedad, we've got Porto, so we've certainly got some tough games in there. And then as far as the league's concerned, we're a point behind Rangers and Celtic. But if you look at our goal difference compared to everyone else's, we've already, after 7 games, got a plus 22 goal difference. We've got the 3 highest average ratings, we've got 2 of the 3 highest goal scorers. In fact, we've already scored 28 goals in 7 games. And obviously, thinking back, we didn't score against Celtic on the opening day of the season, so really that's 28 goals in 6 games. So it's like 4.5 goals a game we're averaging in the league. But obviously Aberdeen have started well. They've got 14 points from 7 games, so it's going to be a pretty tough game. But hopefully we can go into the international break on a high. But there was some more work done in the transfer window. So when we left last time, we'll look at the outgoings. After we left last time, we sent Nicolas St. Martin on loan to Talares. We sent Isaac Babadi on loan to Utrecht with an option to sign him permanently. We sold Shimahira to Copenhagen because he wanted to play first team football and he wasn't anywhere near the levels of the players we had in the squad at the time. And then on deadline day, we sold Jimmy Edstrom to Bayern Munich for up to 27.5 million. We had signed Kevin Meikle on loan and we'd signed Laterna before the PSG game. After that, we added Niksa Delibasic. We did try to sign him when he was at Kukuriki before he went to Man City. Obviously, Man City came in for him, so we didn't get him. But so far, when he's been fit, he's played 4 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, a 7.97 average rating, so he's hit the ground running. We also added Felipe Castro, young Chilean striker. Certainly a one for the future. Obviously can hopefully play as a rotation player where we need to rest players during the season. Hasn't really set the world alight yet, but got full faith that he's going to be as good as Casanova with a couple of years under his belt. And then on deadline day, having sold Jimmy Edstrom, we signed Esteban Ruiz de Galarreta from Talares. Really promising young Argentinian centre-half that hopefully is going to develop as the season goes by, and he will get some first-team football as the season goes on as well. But now, just to jump into the next league game, we've got Aberdeen at home. Hopefully we can continue the run of games we've had, minus the Rangers and Celtic games this season. So we've got a pretty strong side available for this game against Aberdeen. The only players that aren't playing that would potentially be in the starting line, Carlos Medina would likely be starting instead of Romeo in the centre of midfield. And debatably, Deli Basic might be starting on the left instead of Laterno. The key for today's game, though, is going to keep Fraser Sharp quiet because he's a young Scottish player that's scored quite a lot of goals for Aberdeen in recent seasons. So we're going with the 4-2-4, they're going with the 4-3-3. Right, Kerr with an early free kick for us. Stabs it down the line to Casanova, who goes over in the box. Kerr's cross in. Hidero doesn't get his head to it. Kerr again. 3rd time lucky. Cross to the back post and Laterna's header hits the bar and goes over. Right, free kick for them. Lakina goes for goal, hits the post, and luckily it just bounces into Zebra's hand. We're bringing it forward through Danny Smith down this right hand side. We did turn down an offer from Man United on deadline day for him. Meikle coming forward with it again now. Goes round his man, across the back post, Casanova's header. Going to be very difficult to score from that. He was going backwards and it just loops over the top. Right, Laterna bringing the ball down the left-hand side for us. Goes past his man, low cross to Casanova, who goes over, and the referee's given a penalty. Possibly a bit soft, but we'll take it. Well, that's unless VAR overturns it, and they haven't. So penalty to be taken. It's Kevin Meikle stepping up, smashes it home, and that's just taking the lead. That's his 8th goal of the season, and he's proving to be a great signing on loan from Liverpool. We don't really, I don't think we'll ever have the cash to turn it into a permanent deal at the end of the loan deal, but just keeper goes the wrong way, smashes it into the corner, and that's 1-0 up. Right, throw deep in our half, long throw into the box. Hidero gets his head to it, goes back to the throw-in taker. Rekic to Bondar. It's gone wide. We should have done much better defensively there, but it was always going to take a big effort to trouble Zebra from there. Right, throw in for them. Laterna's run it back. Casanova running into the channel. Looks for Romeo on the edge of the box, but now they're going to break. And now they've got 2-on-1 down their left-hand side here. Cross comes in. Elise heads it clear. Laterna now bringing it forward. He's got space to move into. Plays it infield to Romeo, onto Casanova from the edge of the box. What a finish, but was he onside? It looks like it's going to get disallowed. Lieutenant brought it forward, pulled it into it was well offside in the end actually, but he takes a touch and then just buries it into that top corner. Right, Smith with a free kick in injury time. Rodriguez goes back to Zebra. Elise bringing it forward to Laterna on the left. Looks to play Romeo down the line, but they've cut it out. Elise nips in and wins the ball back. Kerr to Meikle. Lovely ball. Was that one onside? Because that's a lovely disguised ball by Meikle. It's been given. So they clear the ball, just help it upfield. Elise nicks in, finds Kerr, plays it first time into Meikle, who just lovely disguise on the ball. Casanova is the only one that makes the run. The defender doesn't go with him. And that's 2-0 right on half time. And a pretty decent time to score the goal. Perfectly timed run. And just first time finish. And there we have it, half time, 2-0 up. We've dominated the game. We've taken some chances. We just need to make sure we don't do anything stupid in the second half like we did in the game against Rangers. Right, Kerr with the corner goes short to Laterna. Pulls it back to Smith on the edge of the box, and that looks like another penalty. They got it done with no one going out at all for the short corner, and that enabled the 1-2 between Laterna and Danny Smith on the edge of the box, and Clarkson just caught the wrong side. Rodriguez stepping up for the second penalty, and the keeper turns it behind. Alright, Danny Smith with a throw. Meikle back to Smith. Meikle down the right hand side. Infield to Klemenko. Smith in the box now. What a finish that is. Despite turning him into a right back, it hasn't dulled his attacking threat down that side. So Meikle plays it infield. Klemenko on into Meikle again. Smith then takes a touch and then just buries it into the far corner. That's 3-0 up, and with less than half an hour left, it should be game over. Right, Dimov with the throw. Perez. We've lost out there, but Smith. Klemenko. Back to Danny Smith. Klemenko over the top. Ibrahimovic helps it on. Perez scores, but I think he might have just strayed offside there. Klemenko just dinked the ball over the top. Ibrahimovic went to just lift it into the centre of the box, and Perez had just gone a yard in front of the wall. And there we have it, full-time, 3-0 victory, pretty professional performance, and a great way to sign off before the international break. And there we have it, the end of an episode, and Season 9's got off to a pretty decent start. We've got 3 points out of 6 in the Champions League, we've made it to the quarter-final of the Scottish League Cup, and we're top of the table after 8 games with a plus 25 goal difference. Things are going pretty well, but join us next time to see if we can continue with this decent run of form. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.